Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the What's Running You podcast. Today, we are going to talk briefly about failure. Yes, I host a podcast on failure called The Other F Word Conversations About Failure um, with some lovely ladies, and we had a great experience, and we interviewed amazing people and learned a lot about it and how it affects us, how we move through it, how it helps us, all those type of things. And, I talk about it in the book. So just wanted to come talk about it here real quick because my older son went back to college. We, kind of organized his clothes and went through stuff, what he needed to take, what he didn't. And then we kind of decided to do that with the whole house. And so I was going through some stuff in the office and I kind of talked about, in some podcasts, I think I was talking about how I've had like great plans in there that I never acted on. And as you start coming through some of these things and you're like, oh my gosh, man, I never did that. I planned on that, or I can't believe I'm writing the same one down from years ago. And you just feel the sense of shame and failure, and it's awful. And we had somebody on the podcast, Mike Downey, said his definition of failure was when something doesn't go as you planned and you feel shame about it. Or something like that. You don't reach your goal and you feel shame about it. And that shame is painful, So I do think it's something to look at, and I think we can learn from that. Obviously, we can learn from our mistakes and grow. There's something in Og Mandino's book where it's like the germ seeds of success are, I read about it in the book, are planted in the darkness of our failure, like in the soil. So I do think that is true, but I also was watching, as I was going through this stuff, I was watching one of my favorite movies, Lonesome Dove, because I just wanted to put something on. I'd seen a lot that I didn't have to pay attention to, but it was in the background. Gus McCrae is one of my, if not my favorite literary character. So in the story, if you haven't seen it, which you should see it, it's long, but it's amazing, or read it, Pulitzer Prize winning book. So they're on this drive from Texas to Montana, and there's a beautiful young girl, Lori, who's on the journey with them, and the cowboy's kind of looking out for her, has left her, and Gus is talking to her, and Gus and Lori are very close bond, and she really wants to get out to San Francisco, and Gus is talking about how, life is still life out in San Francisco, so I'm not saying he's saying don't have those dreams, because he has a dream of going to see Claire and all that stuff, but he's talking about how he tries to find happiness in the little things each day. Whether it's playing poker, conversation with friends, those kind of things. I can't remember specifically, but it's kind of like that's what he's saying. And I was hitting, that kind of hit me, because he's like, life's still life in San Francisco. And you can be let down if you put all your things on one thing. And not that I don't think it's beautiful. I just did a whole hero's journey about it, but I was just thinking about that kind of sense of finding joy in everyday things. And then I was listening to a Bob Goff. He has a book called Catching Whimsy, and it's a daily devotional, and I'm listening to it every day. And then the next day after that, there was a passage, and he's Christian. And he was saying how, he looks at it as all you really need is, like, everything you need is found in Jesus for him. And the other things are things you want. And I was thinking about that, how I am like, and in the book we talk about living from your soul, living from a place of love and worth. And so I was thinking about that, like, you really have what you need. I mean, I know there's devastating situations, so I don't want anyone to think I'm saying, like, I know when my wife was, going through breast cancer, we had young kids, and she was going through chemotherapy, and it was very uncertain times. Like, we needed help, we needed things. So I'm not trying to say there's not those situations, but I am trying to say that, like, I am fully loved right here, right now, and I can live from that place. That's kind of what the book is from, like living from your soul. So it's important not to get lost in your goals and live out there in the future, but realize your happiness is right here. And it's great to go after things. For me, it almost frees me up and, like, yeah, I want to experience that. I don't necessarily need to experience that thing, but I want to. and almost, you know, make it more playful and fun, and that the journey to getting that is helping me grow, and all those things are magnificent. But it reminded me of a David Brooks quote. He was saying, you know, living from love, not for love. I think that's a little bit what it is. Like, we're not trying to get these goals so we feel like we'll be more loved, or people like me more if I'm more, you know, it's like we live from love and then go get things that we want to experience. It's kind of like that couple of podcasts a while ago. I did one on like joy and pleasure from George Lucas. And I think it is being joy, you know, being that, you know, going after joy, and then you get moments of pleasure thrown in. But if you go after pleasure, you don't get much of either. So I do think there's something to that. Scotty Scheffler was talking about how when he wins a golf tournament, you know, he's happy for like 5 minutes and celebrates, and then it kind of goes away. And he's like, that was weird. And how he's found the joy in like the practicing every day, and, you know, and that, and being with his family. So I do think there's something like that. Like, you got to find joy in the process, because that's really where life's lived. And then there is that climactic scene where we celebrate, but it's really the journey and trying to find that joy right where we are. And I think that's something that is hard, and I'm going to be working on that. It's trying to find the joy in the little things, and just know that I'm enough right now. Like, all these other things are great. They're fun. You know, there's a lot of list of things I want to do and things I want to experience, but yeah, I'm enough right here, right now. Yeah. So let's think about that. All right. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it, and hope you're well. Bye.